Minister for Education, Dr. Duchum, says his ministry has undertaken the digital literacy training for over 41,000 teachers across the country. Hence, it has come to him as a surprise, contrary reports that the project was never executed under the Ghana Accountability for Learning Outcomes Project Gallup, funded by the World Bank. Addressing a press conference, the minister, however, assured that the funds for the project are still in the accounts and will be used for the intended purpose.
Mandate was that we needed to train 40,000 teachers in digital literacy. So the Ministry of Education, that is the implementation agency for that component of the funding, embarked on the project of training 40,000 teachers. Platform was created. On that platform, teachers went there and they did the training. At the time that the project was about to come to an end, we have trained over 41,000 teachers. The World Bank then asked the development partners in Ghana to form a consortium and verify if the ministry has truly done the work so that they can release the 1.2 million. The development partners then came, looked at the platform, verified the list of people on the platform, and came to the conclusion that the work has been done. They sent me a letter congratulating me for having met the benchmark that they set for us, and therefore wrote to the World Bank to release the 1.2 million so that we can use the 1.2 million to embark of the project that will improve teaching and learning in the Gallup schools. As I speak with you, the amount is sitting in our account, ready to be used for its intended purpose, buying furniture, buying teaching and learning materials, ensuring that in Gallup schools, everything that they need can be done using the 1.2 million. So if anybody is saying anything, all that I want to tell you is that the money was not intended for training. The training was to be supported by us. And once we can show that we have a skin in the game, that we are committed to the transformation of education in Gallup schools, then they will release the money, and that is what they have done. The good news is that the money is sitting in our account as I speak with you today. So, ladies and gentlemen of prayer, nothing can be further from the truth that Dr. Duchum was or pretend over a project that is not going to benefit Ghanaians. It will never be true. I will never do that. I didn't come to this country to do that. I came to help project the president and ensure that his vision for transformation of education is accomplished. So today, as I sit in front of you, I sit with a sober reflection, understanding that you work so hard, and the others who don't care about that. What they care about is to do anything to dent your image. But I want to assure Ghanaians that Dr. Duchum is in their corner. The president is in their corner. We are here to work hard to change education as we know it.
Meanwhile, former Minister for the sector, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, has also dismissed claims that the project was undertaken under his watch. In a 3-point statement, the minister clarifies that under his watch as Education Minister, the Ghana Education Service did not undertake the teacher training components of Gallup to warrant a claim for the said $1.2 million from the World Bank. Let's share full details of that statement with you right there on your screens. It says, as immediate past Minister for Education, I believe it is important to clarify a number of issues pertaining to the story during the media rounds regarding a World Bank project on teacher training. And thus, under my watch as Education Minister, the Ghana Education Service did not undertake the teacher training components of Gallup to warrant our claim for the said $1.2 million from World Bank. It further states that the digital teacher training under the KA Technology Teacher Laptop Program must not under any circumstances be confused with the Gallup Teacher Digital Literacy Training Program under National Teachers Council. CAT digital training isn't a substitute for Gallup training. These are two different training programs. As Education Minister, I negotiated both programs and know that they are not the same. Those are details of the response coming from the former Education Minister, Matthew Opoku Prempeh. Let's move to Parliament right now. The majority in Parliament has accused Speaker Alban Bagbin of impatience in asserting that the legislature is broke. The Speaker yesterday cautioned the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, not to treat Parliament like other MDAs by requesting for budget cuts and starving the institution of funds. Addressing the media this morning, Majority Chief Whip Frank Anodompre revealed 25 million cedis allocation for goods and services for Parliament, which had been outstanding, had been released while the Speaker was telling the whole world the institution was broke.
This delay is not unique to this Parliament. It happens. And more often than not, a lot of work had been done by the leadership. And here I'm talking about the two leaders. So yesterday, or even a day before, I was in touch with the majority leader before he left for Kumasi. He gave me heads up in terms of what communication had gone on for the releases to Parliament. And he tells me he had apprised the clerk of Parliament and then the chief account officer, Mr. Dan, about it. So they all had a foreknowledge of the processes involved and the fact that the releases had been done. I'm talking about a 25 million outstanding goods and service to Parliament. So yesterday, when the Speaker was lamenting, indeed, officially, the release had been effected. It was just going through the process. The communication often comes from Finance Ministry. It goes to Controller. Controller does the releases. It goes to BOG before it hits the account of Parliament. That is the normal process. So the process had kickstarted. And so it was just a matter of few hours for it to hit Parliament's account. Interestingly, I think around 2 to 3 p.m., I got a confirmation from Parliament that the money has indeed hit the account. So I'm quite surprised that, I don't know if it's because the clerk failed to update the Speaker accordingly, because the Speaker's statement was a bit presumptuous. And I with the greatest respect to him, he has exercised a bit of restraint. I think that he may not have made that comment, the Parliament.
The Speaker is, however, not taking such accusations lightly. Speaking on the floor, Alban Bagbin took strong exception to such pronouncements, including a similar one from Majority Leader Seche Mensah Bonsu, who has been granted media interviews. Bagbin warned the Swami MP this should be the last time he counters his pronouncements as Speaker.
National business. And the quality of the politics, particularly with regard to the health of political parties, seriously impinge on governance of the country. And so we should take our political parties seriously, because they are a very strong pillar of the governance of the country. And so it's important that we factor that in, particularly in whatever we do as a house. And I want to call on all Ghanaians to take this thing seriously. The second point I want to raise is that leaders of the house, as I just said, are leaders of the house. And they support the Speaker, who is the leader of Parliament, not just of the House, of Parliament. And Parliament goes beyond the House. It's an institution and an arm of government. And the spokesperson for Parliament is the Speaker. The Majority Leader speaks for the House. And the House is made up of what? The members of Parliament. But Parliament includes the parliamentary service and the supporting institutions like health, like the police service, like the fire service, like the national security, and other state institutions that render services to Parliament. This is the arm called Parliament as an institution. In fact, in the UK, it's made up of the Queen, it's made up of the House of Lords, and it's made up of the House of Commons. That is the institution of Parliament, and that is why it's sovereign. Well, it's inclusive of even the Queen. The Prime Minister is part of the House of Commons, and so he's part of Parliament, and Parliament is supreme. In Ghana, Parliament is not supreme. We're subject to the Constitution. And so it's important that when the Speaker speaks from the chair, the leader of the House, that is the leader of the members of Parliament, is not seen to be the one countering what the spokesperson of the arm of government says. And if they want us to give documentary evidence about the non-funding of the House for this year, we will provide them. So when I heard that the leader of the House has gone on air to say that what I said is not true, it saddens me. In response to what I said yesterday, the government proceeded to release money yesterday quickly to the House to enable the House function. There's evidence to that.
My colleague Parker Wilson, who is a correspondent for us in Parliament, has joined me with more. Parker, what really sparked this confusion between the Speaker and the majority? Hello, Parker.
Hello, Aisha.
Tell us what really sparked the confusion between the Speaker and the majority side.
Aisha, you recall that yesterday the Speaker fumed over the fact that the Finance Ministry is treating members of Parliament like MMDs and also some of the agencies and the ministries as well. And he wouldn't take it lightly and asking that they should release every funds to Parliament with immediate effect because Parliament is not running efficiently. Now, this morning, the Majority Chief Whip then held a press conference debunking the allegation that Parliament is broke. He was of the view that as at the time the Speaker was speaking on the floor of the House yesterday, about 25 million had already been dispersed to Parliament. It was going through the process. So if the Speaker had taken his time and cross-checked with the Clerk of Parliament and, of course, the leadership of the House, he would have known that the monies owed Parliament had been paid. And so some of these things should be minded and be very careful when he's going in public saying some of these things. That notwithstanding, the majority leader, we are told, that also granted interviews to some our sister stations and also made the same point about the Speaker of Parliament trying to give the government a bad name because of what happened. So the Speaker's attention was drawn to particularly the interview the majority leader granted, not necessarily the press conference by another press. So that was when he made the point that, listen, I'm not going to tolerate this. I am the Speaker of this House. When I speak as the chair, the Speaker of this House, sitting in the chair, I do not want anybody, especially from the majority side, to counter my pronouncement or my declaration. They won't take that going forward because consistently the majority leader has been challenging his authority and questioning him, sticking to one way or the other in the view of the Speaker, undermine his authority. And this time around, he will not sit down for the majority caucus, particularly the majority leader, to undermine him. And that is why he gave that warning. And I must say that when he said that, it was quite clear on the faces of the majority caucus that they were not happy with the Speaker's pronouncement. And so the majority chief whip was, at the time, leading the House because the majority leader and his deputies are not around, then moved on, didn't really comment back on what the Speaker said. So that's how it ended. There was no further pronouncement on the situation in Parliament.
My colleague Parker Wilson there in Parliament will certainly bring you more from that house in our subsequent bulletins. Now, 6 people have been picked up in the Northern region at the ongoing New Patriotic Party's regional branch elections. Northern Regional Crime Officer Superintendent Bernard Baba Ananga, who confirmed this, said they suspect the 6 were plotting to create mayhem at the venue.
Yes, about 6 persons have been arrested by police. It appeared that most of them were here for a different purpose. We were here as early as possible to ensure that the gates were open to the public. And we camped, went to all the stadium apartments and all the rooms. We detected that some people were hiding somewhere. About 5 of them. So we picked them up and then we sent them to the office for investigation. Another one also found himself in a secret room somewhere making calls. It's one of our officers doing a thorough inspection, inspected him. Arrest. We saw that those persons appeared to be characters that look suspicious. These premises cause mayhem and possibly be smuggled in from one way or the other, which investigations are ongoing to find out the purpose of their presence here. They were not authorized in any way. Nobody seemed to know them, and their
Apologize for the poor sound, but 6 out of the 16 regions are electing their regional representatives today. Aspirants from the northeast and Bono East regions have been cleared to set off the race today. Other regions have been slated for Saturday and Sunday. Voting delayed at some polling centers this morning. Member of the Regional Elections Committee, Matthew Nyindam, explains reasons accounting for the challenges in those regions.
And we expect this conference to start at 9 o'clock. But unfortunately, we don't form a quorum. That's what is actually keeping us. We expect most of our delegation have been seated by now. But for now, they are not in. We expect in the next 20 minutes, we'll have a quorum to start. That's the only thing that's holding us.
What if in the next 20 minutes we don't have people coming?
We are keeping them up to quickly be here. Obviously, we know the constituencies. The elections are just a very few. We are looking at 382 delegates, so they are not too much, 18 constituencies. So we started calling the constituency chairman to make sure that they get their people here. And the aspirants, most of them are here. It's just left with the chairman and the youth organizers that are not here. So in the next 20 minutes, I'm pretty sure that we should get this game started.
Now, you are part of the regional committee, election committee. How has the preparation gone so far?
Well, I think that so far it's been very satisfactory. If you look at the security aspect, we've been able to get enough security. We have also made it clear that if you don't have accreditation, you shouldn't be allowed in. And that has been rigorously followed by the security people. So it's been fine. Then if you look at the Electoral Commission, they are already set up waiting for the election to start. So like I said earlier, we are just waiting for the delegates. So far, it's been very peaceful, although early days yet. We expect to have free, fair elections. And the winner will say, I have won proudly. The loser will say, yes, I have lost. And we'll look for another 4 years.
You mentioned free, fair elections. Some of the people already are casting doubts on the election even before it started. They are talking of name deletion and addition. Has that come to your attention?
Well, it's been rumored that some people said some names have been off, others say some have been on, but we haven't even started the elections.
Well, in the Ashanti region, election watchers have predicted a 2-horse chairmanship race in the election of regional executives. Would it be the incumbent Bernard Entwibwe known as Chairman Wuntumi or Odenehu Kwekwapia, aka Koka? Though other aspirants have a little chance of winning, their impact on the elections are not undermined. Postponement of the election to Saturday gives aspirants 24 more hours to wrap up their campaigns. Nana Ojima has been crossing camps of all aspirants in the chairmanship race and has filed this report.
She has been cheating us, so we don't want him again. Yeah.
Abilele is a serial caller on radio and a staunch member of the New Patriotic Party in the Ashanti region. He and his team are faces you can't miss at party or state functions in the region. Abilele was once in the camp of the incumbent regional chairman, Bernard Entribuesiakon.
He used our name, to collect something from national, but he will never give it to us. He is a promise and failure chairman, so we don't need him again.
Many, just like Abilele, who have lost trust in Chairman Buntumi, are in the media space campaigning for their preferred candidates. The incumbent, unfazed by the challenge, continues to tour constituencies to campaign for a third term. Bernard Entribuesiakon believes his track record in the last 8 years will once again win him the seat.
The executives, they know what I have done, and we are going to be elected to win power, not only a chairman. So therefore, it's about what you have done and what you can do.
In the Northeast region, regional chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Nuruddin Hussaini, has denied that his re-election will affect the progress of the party and the political fortunes of the vice president. Speaking to Joy News after his final campaign tour of the region, the chairman said his main goal in seeking re-election is to actually ensure Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia becomes the leader of the NPP and president of the country.
Nuruddin Hussaini wants to win a second term as the Northeast Regional Chairman of the NPP, and for now, opinion polls suggest he's likely to succeed. Ahead of the elections tomorrow, the 27th of May, the chairman and his team have been traveling across the 6 constituencies, meeting with the delegates and other stakeholders of the party in a final bid to achieve this victory. On the first day of the tour, the chairman and his team visited the Cherpone, Bumpurgu and Yunyu constituencies, which have been described as his fertile grounds and where he's expected to win massively on Friday. At Cherpone, the regional communications officer and a member of the chairman's team, Amos Walibi, appealed to the delegates to re-elect Chairman Nuruddin to lead the party.
So, my dear friends, delegates in Cherpone, let's not toy with the destiny of our party. If we love this party so much, let's not gamble.
The immediate former Isman Prosi MCA, Mr. Danladi, also a member of the team, addressed the delegates.
And from what I'm gathering from this meeting, the youth want Chairman Nuru. The youth want Chairman Nuru. Then whether you like Chairman Nuru or you don't like Chairman Nuru, vote for the youth. Vote for the youth. And I believe that you vote for Chairman Nuru because you are not just sitting here because I believe you have a leader, and that leader has a sense of direction. He will definitely direct you to the right place.
The chairman asked the delegates to renew his mandate to consolidate the gains of his administration for more opportunities for party members and ultimately achieve the overall agenda of ensuring the vice president gets to lead not only the party but the country as president.
Let's continue to get our seats safe. We're talking about women. You see, somebody will come and say, oh, I want to break the 8. I want to break the 8. It is not about breaking the 8. It's about what you will do to break the 8. And tomorrow start today. Tomorrow start today. You sit down, you don't even know anybody in MPP. You said you want to help our women to break the 8. I want a united Northeast region. One agenda that we have, and the agenda is Bawumia must lead MPP. That is what I think of.
Like in Cherpone.
We're going to take you to the election grounds for the very latest. Maxwell Kudeko is in the eastern region. He joins us live. Maxwell, how far has election gone in that region?
Well, in the eastern region, the election would be conducted tomorrow. That's the 28th of May. However, when you get to the ground, almost everything is set. All the aspirants have hung their posters and banners. Other national aspirants have also come around to hang their banners. So preparation is underway. I had a conversation with a member of the organizing committee, Aladi Umar Bodinga, who happens to be the first vice chairman. He tells me that in an era of a supposed terrorist attack, they have had serious engagement with the security agencies to ensure that nothing untoward will happen. So they have demarcated the place in such a way that there are some arenas, if you are not accredited, you cannot enter the place. So far, preparation is underway. Just as we indicated earlier, the contest in the Eastern region is being contested by, we have 21 candidates contesting for 10 positions. The major contest that has drawn attention has to do with the regional chairmanship election that is being contested fearlessly by the incumbent regional secretary, Mr. Jeff Konedu, who is seeking for the mandate to lead the party in the Eastern region. He's having a stiffer opposition from Mr. Kojo Boateng Agyemang, who is also the current constituency chairman for the New Gabe North constituency. Mr. Kojo Boateng's entry is quite late. He joined the race just about a week or two ago, but he seems to be catching fire. His message seems to be catching fire. The contest for the regional chairmanship, many people in the region see that contest as a contest between the presidency and then the powers that be in the core bloc, that's Mr. Ibrahim, the champion, in a sense that the perception is very clear among the candidates, the delegates, that Mr. Kojo Boateng Agyemang, if you look at the kind of message that he is preaching, it appears that he has the support from the president, while Mr. Jeff Konedu, who is also from the core bloc, appears to have massive support and endorsement from Mr. Ibrahim Sampo. So it appears to be a struggle for power. Even though Mr. Jeff Konedu started the campaign way back last year, Mr. Kojo Agyemang is also chasing him. The message for the two candidates have left a lot of delegates thinking and also in a dilemma as to who to go for. So the concept is very key. While Mr. Jeff Konedu is preaching on the background that he has had a very cordial working relationship with the constituency over the period, and that he has a very good human relationship and what have you. He should be able to join forces and bring everybody together. Mr. Kojo Agyemang has also been campaigning against the current leadership of the party, in a sense that he says that the current leadership of the party supervised the defeat of two MPs in the Eastern region. That is the Ayenswano constituency. That's supposed to be a traditional seat for the MPP. It went to the NDC in the last election. And also the Akosia constituency, which happens to be a seat for the MPP, also went to the NDC. So he feels that they need to change people, the old leadership, and bring on new ideas. He says that the position of the regional executive is to coordinate the constituency.
Maxwell Kudeko there, bringing us updates from the Eastern region where the NPP executive elections is ongoing. Meanwhile, National Chairman of the party, Freddie Blay, is asking delegates to vote for aspirants who are competent and capable to assist the party in its quest to break the eight. The chairman admonished the delegates not to sacrifice the interest of the party for their personal gains.
Well, definitely the delegates will have to vote for people who are competent, who are straightforward with them, those who will listen to them and do what they want to serve the party and back the government so that the government will achieve its objectives. That's essentially what we are looking for. And the delegates they live with aspirants, those who aspire to various positions. At this stage, it's for the the regional executives, and indeed the regions, all the 16, all the 16 branches all over the country. We are geared up towards that, And surprisingly, and I must say, I'm pleasantly surprised. The people are keenly interested in it. You know, it means the context is keen. People are doing all that they can to ensure that they will. Of course, sometimes even some will even say that it becomes monetized. But it's over time. The parties. It's not a question of just pushing in money that will see you as executive. But there are other.
Still on the NPP, embattled Member of Parliament for Donkwa Benya Sarah Adwoa-Safo says she remains loyal to the NPP and to the President and will return to take up her ministerial position. The Gender, Children and Social Protection Minister has been away from her post for more than a year. In Parliament, she's been absent for 8 months. Some of her colleagues, both in Parliament and in government, have accused her of blackmailing the government when she was needed in Parliament to help pass the controversial e-levy into law. But speaking exclusively to Joy News from her base in the US, Adwoa-Safo insisted she was away for good reason. More in this report.
She was at one point Ghana's most wanted MP. She was wanted by the presidency, Parliament and her party. They needed her to back their numbers in Parliament to approve government's most critical revenue measure, the e-levy, without which the Finance Ministry had said the economy will probably collapse. Well, for 8 months, try as they did, no one could find her. But Joy News did, and Sarah Adwoa-Safo seized the moment from her base in the USA, live on a Zoom connection to set the record straight.
My son has been unwell, and that is why I had to come here to the United States to, be the mother and the best mother that I could be. And I'm still here, making sure that all that is settled with my son and all the authorities and the school, and it's still ongoing. I've been a deputy leader of Ghana's parliament, and I know the rules, and I know that the Privileges Committee wants me to be in parliament, but as we speak, I don't know that I've been invited.
She says the president was fully aware of her reasons for being absent.
Communication I have sent to His Excellency the President, and he's very much aware of what is happening to me and my family.
Donkwa Benya MP Adwoa-Safo there. More than 3,000 menstruating girls in Amasaman cluster of schools in the West municipality of the Greater Accra region have been provided with sanitary pads as Ghana joins the world to mark Menstrual Hygiene Day. A collaboration between an NGO inspired today, MTN Ghana Foundation and other corporate institutions is aimed at reducing the rising cases of sex for sanitary pads among adolescent girls in Ghana. More in this report. The Amasaman cluster of schools will be the 17th cluster to receive support from the Inspire Today Foundation.
I always use Euro because sanitary pad is too expensive.
I use sanitary pad, but sometimes I don't get, so I use newspapers because it's free. I don't buy.
As for me, my mother doesn't have, so I use pieces of cloth.
More than 3,000 girls received sanitary towels, bathing soap, roll-ons, shaving sticks and educational materials to mark this year's World Menstrual Hygiene Day.
There have been instances where girls have even dropped out of school because the school environment have not been made safe for them. And we thank Inspire Today for their contribution in support of our girls in the schools.
Senior Manager in charge of corporate communications at MTN Ghana, Georgina Sarif-Yagbenu, seized the opportunity to encourage the girls to be intentional about their goals.
On the occasion of the World Menstrual Hygiene Day, we would like to encourage young girls to understand that menstruation is part of every girl's life. In trying to achieve the objectives, menstruation should never prevent them from achieving their goals.
Wilma Africa, producers of Jama soap and Alive, supplied the girls with soap to promote good menstrual hygiene.
We know that keeping clean as a student would help in their education, because it's only in cleanliness that you can actually assimilate whatever you are being taught. And so our partnership of this is to instill in the students that keeping clean and observing good personal hygiene with our Alive brand is the way to go.
We'll take a break. We'll bring you business shortly.
Hello, good afternoon. I am Beverly Broom. Let's do business now. Struggling financial institutions across the country have been entreated to be prudent in their management of liquidity. According to the Managing Director for the Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited, Daniel Edu, consistent cash flow forecasting, maximizing network capital and maintaining current credit facilities should be plans exhibited in the attempt to avert a liquidity crisis. There's more in the following report.
At the Faculty of Accounting and Finance Alumni Spotlight Series at the University of Professional Studies, Accra, Mr. Daniel Ado described the financial sector as reliable prior to the sector's cleanup exercise. He further advised financial institutions to exercise caution in order to keep overhead costs under control and to consider obtaining a line of credit.
The financial system is in much better shape than it was 4 years ago. Capital adequacy within the financial system is very high. Non-performing loans have moderated, and so the solvency within the system is very good. Now, for financial institutions that are suffering, obviously they have to rework their way back to a solid position. And like I've said before, liquidity is always a key thing, and so you need to ensure that your asset liability management is best in class. You're on top of that, right? You need to ensure that you're watching the kind of exposures you're taking on the balance sheet, and most importantly, you need to watch your governance risk and controls to ensure that you don't get caught in a situation where you have a liquidity crisis.
In response to the increase in inflation and policy rate, he stated that the Bank of Ghana is apt in that decision and that things will be altered to save the financial sector.
No, the way forward is very simple. Inflation has to be tamed and has to be brought down. Inflation is a silent killer. It's the armed robber that comes without a gun. You know, in an inflationary situation, your money loses very quickly. And so, inflation must be tamed. And I think that the moves that the right central bank has taken over the last couple of months are in the right direction. There's no quarrel about that at all. They're doing what has to be done to tame inflation, and that's the way to go.
The topic for this year's Faculty of Accounting and Finance Alumni Spotlight Series is looking forward backwards, leading in a volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous world.
Away from that, President of the African Development Bank Group, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, is calling for the establishment of a special fund for the development of sustainable infrastructure in Africa. Speaking at the 50th anniversary forum of the African Development Fund as part of the bank's annual meeting in Accra, he said the fund will help solve many of the climate change's challenges, especially in sub-Saharan Africa.
Life that you have. That's my son, ADF, so that you know that I also have ADF in my blood. That's because ADF gives hope. As Phil just told us from the United Kingdom, he said the fund is needed now more than ever. As we celebrate ADF at 50, there's still much more hope for us to give. There's still much more to do. There's still much more Antonios out there who are hoping that somehow their lives will be removed from the clutches of poverty and lack of education that they face every single day. The fund at 50, as we celebrate, has also $25 billion in equity. We've been talking to our partners for us to invest even more smartly, to use that $25 billion to leverage $33 billion, and therefore be able to give more hope. Just imagine what that will do all across of Africa, leveraging for hope. The fund then will be able to expand hope, be financially sustainable, support climate resilience, support renewable energy. And I think I just had on the panel, during the ADF 16, we're talking about a special set aside for climate because 9 out of the 10 most vulnerable countries to climate change in Africa are in sub-Saharan Africa, but 100% of them are the ADF countries.
That's all for business for now, but we have more business stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Have a good afternoon.
And here we go. All right, so that's the news for you. Of course, we're jumping into some showbiz news. And before we do that, Hits FM Rapid Jersey happens tomorrow at the Aviation Social Center. If you've never been to the Hits FM Rapid Jersey, please check this out. All right, so we'll bring you some more updates on that. But don't forget that it's happening tomorrow, 12 noon at the Aviation Social Center. We're all going to meet for the Hits FM Rapid Jersey. It's the biggest comeback, and I'm sure you want to be a part of it. So come through and represent the teams that you support, and make sure you're coming with your branded T-shirt as well, jerseys, and be a part of it. And also, we've got our weekly wrap, and if we can, okay, so Aisha, yeah.
My jersey, definitely.
No, you need to, because what team are you supporting? Liverpool, Real Madrid?
Oh, Real Madrid. I know a lot of
I don't
people
like you
will
now.
bash me.
I don't like you
that,
now. Like, you're not my
but
friend.
I love them like crazy.
You're not my friend.
I want them to win. So let's watch out how it goes. That's how we wrap up the bulletin this afternoon. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. Log on to myjoyonline.com. You get updates of all the developing stories. Enjoy the rest of our program.